So let's say that we're solving for this equation here, x squared minus equals to -4. The problem here is that in the real world, the real number words, it's difficult to do this one. It's impossible, practically impossible. And that's the reason why we introduce this word called the complex numbers. And we use the imaginary number to actually make it work, all right? So in this case, like we said, in real numbers, this is impossible. So impossible to solve for this in real numbers. Okay, the real numbers are, right? You guys remember that? So that's the R, okay? So with that, we can't solve it. Okay, so that's when we introduce what we call the complex numbers, right? So we then introduce the complex numbers concept. And that concept is carried by what we call the imaginary number, okay? So we're talking about the imaginary number, which is usually equals to I, and then I is equal to square root of -1, where I to the second power is then equal to what? So you got to square this one. So it's square root of -1 squared it. So that means I to the second power equals to what? -1. Highly used under the complex numbers concept. Okay? So this is what, we introduce here today. And then also, when it comes to x squared equals to -4, then if you wanted to solve that problem, knowing I squared equals -1, so this is not possible. So let's just do that so you can see. So we have x squared then equals to -4, so that becomes what? So instead of having -4, the negative sign, which is -1, becomes then 4i to the second power, or I 4 to the second power. So the -1 becomes I to the second power. And now we can solve for it, okay? So in this case, what can we do to solve for it? So we can just square root both sides. So this one is out. So we end up with what? X equals to plus minus. What is square root of 4, 2? And what is square root of I squared is I. So you end up with an answer of x equals to plus minus 2i. So that would be your solution, in this case, under the complex numbers concept. Okay, but again, under the real number, the real numbers concept, that is practically impossible. All right? Thank you.